Hello, students. Let's try to figure out this true thing again, this true or false thing. So we were trying something like, I don't know, let's try um, 4 less than 9. Okay, and I enter and I get true. So suppose I want to understand what this true thing actually is. Well, the first thing I could do is I could ask, everything in Python's an object, so true must be an object. What kind of an object is true? So I could either do this, 4 less than 9, and it's telling me it's a bool, which stands for boolean, either true or false. Or I could even just have gone and done this, true or false. And that was telling me that it's a boolean as well. Okay, so we know how type works. Type tells us what kind of an object it is. So the next thing I might want to do is I might want to say, okay, well, let's try the directory. Let's try to see what we can do to say these bools. These bools are booleans. So you'll see some of the familiar things here. Some of these things are stuff that you've seen before. There's a few ones here that you might notice. We have and we have an or. So maybe we could try to figure out how those work, right? So let's try some statements with and or. So suppose I say, hey, let's say 0 is less than 1 and 1 is less than 0. Let's try that. And now it's telling me false. And why is it telling me false? Because this statement's an and statement, and an and statement's only true if both parts are true. So even though 0 less than 1 is true, I'm getting a false. But if I try 0 less than 1 or 1 less than 0, that's now going to give me true, because an or statement is true as long as one of the parts is true. And this is not an exclusive or by any means, as long as at least one of the parts. So if the first part's true, if the second part's true, if they're both true, an or statement's going to be true. So we have and we have or. And we could even try to play with this. For instance, if I wanted to just do true or false instead of having statements which are true or false, this would also work. This would also give me true. Okay. So what happens if I do something like this? True or true and false. So this gives me true. And let's think about this, because there's a few ways we might interpret this. You see, depending on what we want to happen first, this would give us a different answer. For instance, I might mean true or true and false. And if that's what I mean, well, true or true is going to be true, and false is going to be false. So as long as there's an and statement with a false on the right, that's got to be false, because this statement on the right is false. So this definitely false. Okay, let's try true or true and false here. Let's try that. Well, now that's true. Why is that? Well, the left side is true. And as long as one side is true, this is always going to be true. So just like with integers and arithmetic, there's a standard order of operations when it comes to, addition, multiplication, and that stuff. There's also an order of operations for booleans, which gives a certain way for the computer to interpret it. Or also, if you're taking a class in set theory or logic or proof writing, you'll have the order of operations listed there. However, there's no shame in using parentheses. If you want to make sure that you want the operation to, you want the value, that the truth value, to be the one that you really want, don't be ashamed to use parentheses. So for instance, if I wanted to say, hey, 5 is less than 6, or 5 is less than 7, and 7 is less than 6. Feel free to stick in the parentheses in order to make sure that you get the outcome that you want. Now, what's something else that I could do? Well, I know that 1 is less than 2. There's also the not, which we can do here. And what not does is it reverses whatever the value is, whatever the Boolean value is. So for instance, if I have 1 less than 2, that's true. So not 1 less than 2 is going to be false. So these are some things that pop up if you type in the directory for integers, uh, 2. So we've been using a lot of this less than, but there's also a few others I want to talk about, one of which is equality, which is basically the equality operator, which checks to see if things are equal. So let's do this great thing now. What Python can do is we can use it to check to see, is 1 plus 1 equal to 2? Now you'll notice, you might feel that's a little strange that I'm doing two equal signs there. And that's because equal can mean two different things. Either I'm setting something equal to something, like I could set x equal to 7. That's basically I'm giving a name to 7, right? I'm storing it as a variable. So that's a different type of equality when I'm naming something, when I'm setting a variable. This is actually, I'm asking it, is it equal? So whenever you're asking is something equal, we use these two equal signs. So let's see, is this going to be true? 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So we can do this with Python. What's something else that we could do? Well, there's also the not equal operator. So let's see if 1 plus 1 is not equal. Well, first let's see, is it equal to 3? It is not equal to 3. But if I say, hey, is 1 plus 1 not equal to 3? Now it is not equal to 3. So I get a true there. So I could have also just done not 1 plus 1 equals 3. And this would first do the 1 plus 1 equals 3. Realize that that's false. And then this is a not false, which gives me a true. So we have the standard greater than, less than symbols, and we also have a less than or equal to and a greater than or equal to, just like we do in math. However, we can't draw sort of the little, what is it, alligator mouth with the line underneath it. So what we're going to do in Python, if I want to check, is 3 less than or equal to 3? I'm just going to do the less than sign and the equal sign. So that's my less than or equal to, and true. Is 3 less than or equal to 1? False. And for greater than or equal to, is 3 greater than or equal to 3? I'm just writing them in the order where I would speak them in English, right? In English, I would say greater than or equal to, so I draw the greater than sign first. And I could also say, is 3 greater than or equal to 1? And I get true as well. Is 1 greater than or equal to 3? I get false because it isn't. So we have less than, greater than, less than or equal, greater than or equal to, this equality operator, not equals operator, and then we also have not, and or, just like we do in sort of normal logic. So those are some things that we can do with these bools. And I guess that's it for right now.